Hey folks, today I'm continuing the King's Quest series by playing through King's Quest IV, The Perils of Rosella, released by Sierra in 1988. This was the first game to use the Sierra Creative Interpreter, or the SCI engine, and while it's still only 16-color EGA graphics, you notice that the scenes have higher resolution and detail than earlier games in the AGI engine. It was also the first Sierra game to utilize more sophisticated sound cards. Like the others, I'm playing this on ScumVM using an emulated Roland MT32 driver for the music. This one has a much longer introduction sequence, and we'll watch that before starting the game. With the return of his long-lost son, Alexander, and the rescue of his daughter, Rosella, from the terrible dragon, old King Graham decides it's time to pass on his adventurer's hat to younger blood. He flings the battered hat towards his children while his wife, Queen Valenice, proudly looks on. The hat arches through the air. Suddenly, King Graham experiences a terrible squeezing pain in his chest. "Help me," he rasps. The adventurer's hat lies unclaimed upon the floor, forgotten. King Graham lies weakly in bed, Father Death hovering near. Grief suddenly overwhelming her, Rosella runs from the room. "Oh, Father," she sobs, "you're still young. You should have many years ahead of you. Oh, I wish I could help you, Father." "Do you really mean that?" a soft voice asks. Rosella looks up but sees no one. "Who's speaking to me?" "I am," the voice says. "Look in the magic mirror." Rosella sees an image in the mirror. "Who are you?" she queries. "I am the fairy Genesta. In my land of Tamir there is a remarkable tree. This tiny tree needs 100 years to bear a single fruit. But this is no ordinary fruit, for if a person were to eat it, they would find that good health and well-being would be theirs for many years." Rosella is much heartened by this news. Where is the land of Tamir? Genesta smiles. "Tamir is very far away, but with my magic I can bring you here." Rosella senses that there is more to the story, but I suppose there are some problems? Again, Genesta smiles. "Yes, you are correct, Rosella. If you're willing to come to Tamir, I will explain the situation. However, once I bring you here, I can't send you back. You will have to help me first." Confused, Rosella says, "I don't know. What if I can't help you or find the tree?" Genesta pleads, "You must decide now, Rosella. My powers are growing weaker by the minute." Now the fairy is but a faint glimmer and her voice barely audible. "If you care for your father, say yes now." And suddenly, she's gone. "Yes." The lovely fairy speaks. I am the fairy, Genesta. Welcome to Tamir. Rosella looks awestruck at the fairy. She is stunningly beautiful, but still, there is a certain sadness to her. Finally, Rosella speaks. I know you would like me to help you in some way, but I don't know how I could help a fairy. Genesta looks sadder than ever. You're wrong, Rosella. You see, I'm losing my magical powers. Yesterday, as I was strolling through the woods, Lolotte, the evil fairy, caught me unawares and stole my magic talisman. The fairy sighs. She yanked it from my neck and raced away screeching with laughter. Immediately, I felt my powers diminishing and my body weakening. I will die in 24 hours if my talisman is not returned. Intently, Genesta looks at Rosella. Lolotte is very evil and will use the talisman to bring more evil to Tamir. Now I fear it will contaminate my whole country. Further, I cannot send you home without my talisman. Rosella is unsure as to what she can do. Meekly, she asks, I want to help you, but how? You can do more than you think, Rosella, Genesta assures her. I believe you will be able to penetrate Lolotte's domain. Suddenly, Rosella remembers the tiny tree. Can you tell me where to find the magic fruit? Remorsefully, Genesta looks at Rosella. It will not be easy to reach the tree. It grows on a tiny island within a vast swamp on the other side of the great mountains. Bravely fighting back tears, Rosella says, I will help you in any way I can, Genesta. How can I find Lolotte? The beautiful fairy points eastward. Lolotte's castle overlooks Tamir from the great mountains. Genesta looks weaker as she says, There's not much more I can do, Rosella. As it is, it will be difficult for me to fly home again. One thing I must do for you, though. I shall disguise you as a peasant girl so as not to attract attention. Thank you, Genesta. I think, Rosella stammers. It will be better for you, the fairy says. Well, I must be off while I can still fly. I know you can do it. Goodbye. Good luck. Well, you're on your own, Rosella. Okay, and now the game begins. A river, coming from the east, spills into the blue ocean before you. A lonely beach edges the ocean. From atop the bluff, a lovely meadow stretches eastward. A cold river carves its way through this lush, flowery meadow. You see a beautiful wild unicorn in the meadow. Its coat is dapple gray, and its wonderful horn shines like gold. The unicorn shies at your approach and trots away. I think we can increase the speed a little bit. A gentle stream meanders its way through the trees. A rustic stone bridge crosses its path. Look under bridge. You kneel down and peer under the bridge. Aha! You found a small golden ball. You pick it up and carry it with you. We have a gold ball. Numerous water lilies float serenely upon the lovely little pond nestled in these woods. Atop one of the bigger lily pads, you noticed a rather large frog, wearing a little gold crown. Oops, you scared the frog away. Drop ball. You accidentally drop the golden ball into the pond. From atop a lily pad, a large green frog leaps into the water and disappears from view. A moment later, the frog emerges with, yes, your lost ball in its mouth. It seems as if the frog is kindly returning your gold ball to you. Get frog. Squinching up your nose in disgust, you catch the large frog and hold it in your hand. It stares at you with its big, bulgy eyes and wobbles its throat. Frog, with a little crown on its head. Hiss, frog. You look at the frog's green lips. Good. You feel silly doing this as you slowly put your mouth against the frog's. Suddenly, the little green frog changes into a handsome prince. Who are you? The prince demands. I thought you were supposed to be a princess. Why, you're nothing more than a peasant girl. You blanch a bit at that remark, but say nothing. Well, ta-ta, he says. I'm off. Here, you may keep this. To your surprise, he tosses the little golden crown to you as he takes his leave. Good riddance, you think. Get ball. Now we have this small crown that he gave us. You've entered a shady wooded area with birds calling from many trees. You notice a pool in the distance to the north. The beautiful pool, with its elegant marble columns, has a wonderful setting in these woods. The water looks so cool and inviting, you're almost tempted to jump in. A beautiful green meadow, dotted with wildflowers, serves as the fisherman's spacious backyard. The flowers' sweet scent fills the air. The scent of wildflowers fills the air in the lovely green meadow. Look, man. You see a rather jaunty-looking fellow who appears to be a wandering minstrel. He seems to be a lute player. Talk, man. You say hello to the minstrel, who looks at you in surprise. Well, well, who do we have here? He asks. You introduce yourself as Rosella. Hello, Rosella, the minstrel says. Let me play for you one of my favorite tunes, and he begins to play an old ballad. Unfortunately, it appears that his musical skills are quite limited, as he plucks and pings his way through an otherwise beautiful song. Hawkman. You unthinkingly speak to the minstrel again, who immediately begins playing another bad rendition of a favorite oldie but goodie. Talk man. The minstrel seems quite pleased that you appreciate his music so much. He obviously loves the attention as he goes into an out-of-tune version of Greensleeves. Okay, we'll return here later. Back at the pond. Look, man. You see a lively creature who is, at the same time, both man and goat. He is a satyr, and his name is Pan. He seems to be greatly enjoying his flute music. There's supposed to be a Cupid that comes here. There we go. Oh no, you startled Cupid. Look ground. You see a little golden bow and 2 golden arrows on the ground by the pool. Get bow. Cupid's bow with 2 arrows. Oops. Back at the unicorn. You are wandering through a thick wood. You hear birds chirping from the many trees. You've come upon a cute little house built right into a huge tree. An old water wheel attached to the house goes unused beside a little river that flows gently before the house. Knock door. You knock loudly on the small door. No answer. Open door. This is the main room of the 7 Dwarves' cozy treehouse. What a mess it is. You've entered the small upstairs bedroom of the 7 Dwarves. My goodness, these dwarves are sloppy. Clean house. I guess Rosella has OCD. Go into somebody's house and just start cleaning it up for them. You hear the dwarves approaching. You watch quietly as the dwarves file in one by one, get a bowl of soup, and take a seat at the table. This dwarf must be really hungry. He's getting 2 bowls of soup. The 7 dwarves seem very pleased that you tidied their messy home. One politely asks your name. You tell him, and he cordially invites you to sit down with them and eat the bowl of soup he got for you. You seat yourself at the table and begin to eat the surprisingly delicious soup. Talk dwarves. You politely talk to the dwarf nearest you. Where are you from, Rosella? He asks. You tell him, Daventry. The dwarf thinks for a moment. Never heard of it. Again, you engage in conversation. Is Daventry far from Tamir? The dwarves wonder. Very far, you tell them. How did you get here? They ask. As you don't want to get into specifics, you tell them, by sea. That answer seems to satisfy them as they return to their eating. You speak to the nearest dwarf again. He wonders why you are here in Tamir. You explain that you are in the service of Genesta, the good fairy, who wishes to regain her magic talisman from the clutches of Lolotte, the bad fairy. Well, young lady, the dwarf states, I don't envy you. You're much braver than I am dealing with that evil fairy. You attempt conversation another time, but the dwarves tell you they must hurry and finish their soup, as they need to get back to work before dark. And I guess we just wait for everybody to finish their soup. It's time for the little men to go back to the mine. Goodbye, and thanks for the soup, you call as they take their leave. You finished your soup, also. It was the best soup you've ever tasted. Maybe, though, you were just really hungry. We also just did survive an ordeal with a dragon. That happened the same day. uh, Clean house. Phew, I hope that's the last of it. Look table. You see a long wooden table. You also notice a blue pouch. Get pouch. It's a diamond pouch. You see a crude mine shaft in the midst of this forest of pine trees. Diamonds glitter and sparkle from the earthen walls of the Seven Dwarves diamond mine. Within it, you see the little men busily at work. You see the busy little dwarves hard at work within the diamond mine. The diamonds flash and sparkle from the earthen walls. Give pouch to dwarf. Try standing in front of the head dwarf. Still not in the right position. Here we go. Being an honest person, you offer the forgotten pouch of diamonds to the dwarf. His gruff exterior softens a bit. Nah, you can keep it, he says. We got plenty here. We also got an extra lantern we ain't using. Here, go ahead and take it. The dwarf's gruffiness returns as he says, Now skedaddle on out of here. Oh. It wasn't that far of a fall, so... Okay. Alright, so now we have also this unlit lantern. Let's see. Now what? Where are we going next? You are roaming through a dense forest. Look, bird. A pretty robin pulls hungrily at a long earthworm. Get worm. You're walking through a forest thick with pine trees. A nearby river rushes westward from the distant mountain range. In the distance, you see a large house. Indeed, this is a spooky old house. It looks as if no one has lived here for many years. Flanking the old house on both sides is a rundown cemetery. A thick forest looms all around. Open door. This is the entry room of the old house. Downstairs you see two open doorways, and upstairs you see an additional two doorways. The room is cobwebbed and dusty, with wallpaper peeling from the walls. Considering the disarray of the rest of the house, the parlor looks in relatively good order. However, the fireplace is cold and unused, the bookshelves are almost bare, and the old furnishings are dusty. Bookshelves. You examine the few remaining books on the bookshelves. Only one catches your attention. It is entitled The Complete Works of William Shakespeare. Get book. You remove the Shakespeare book from the shelf and carry it with you. Shakespeare book. Look, picture. An interesting portrait of a young girl hangs above the fireplace. You gaze at it intently and notice that her eyes seem to stare at the left wall of the parlor. Look, wall. You examine the left wall very closely and notice a little latch. Pull latch. You flip the latch in the wall and, behold, you've discovered a secret door. You found a secret tower. Narrow steps spiral dizzyingly upward. You notice a shovel leaning against the wall. We're not going to go to the top of the tower yet. We'll go there later. It's the stairs of the tower get kind of precarious. Get shovel. We have that shovel now. Okay. This run-down, gloomy cemetery gives you the creeps. Many of the old tombstones have fallen over, and the entire place is overgrown with grass and weeds. The minstrel isn't here. We want him to come back. There he is. Give book to man. You hand the Shakespeare book to the minstrel. Curiously, he opens it and begins to read aloud, first hesitantly, then with increased forcefulness as he begins to get into it. Suddenly, he stops and looks at you. "This is wonderful," he exclaims. "This gives me a new lease on life. No longer am I a mere minstrel. Now I will become a famous actor. To be or not to be. How's that?" He then gives you his lute, bids you farewell, and wanders off to stardom. So now we have the minstrel's lute. Since Pan likes music, let's play the lute for him. Pan has ceased his dancing and now looks at you and the lute curiously. Give lute to Pan. Okay. Pan gratefully accepts your gift of the lute, and in return he gives you his flute. Happy now, he dances away with it. So we now have the silver flute from Pan. A poor fisherman's shanty adorns this part of the coastline. A pier stretches from the house out into the ocean to the west. You see a pretty meadowland off to the east. You are standing at the end of an old weathered pier. From here to the west, you can see nothing but ocean. Get out of your way. Open door. Not close enough. Okay. Talk man. You talk to the grizzled fisherman as he sits at the table. Sighing, he tells you, "Them fish ain't been biting lately. If things don't get better soon, I don't know what to do." Talk woman. You say hello to the poor woman. With little patience, she responds, "What are you doing in here, young lady? Can't you see I'm busy? We have enough problems without worrying about you." The inside of the fisherman's shack looks almost as shabby as the outside. You see the old fisherman at the table and his wife kneading bread at the counter. The fisherman's fishing pole has been set in the corner. Give pouch to fisherman. You offer the pouch of diamonds to the fisherman, who takes it gladly. "Wife, give the girl my fishing pole in trade," he tells his tired wife. Obediently, she retrieves the pole and hands it to you. "Thank you very much," she says, smiling. "You have certainly helped us." Okay. All right, we're going to put the worm on pole. Scrunching up your delicate nose, you gingerly bait the hook of the fishing pole with the large earthworm. So now we have a baited fishing pole. Let's fish. Eagerly, from the end of the pier, you fling the baited line of the fishing pole into the ocean. The fish don't seem to be biting. Yeah, that's what the fisherman was complaining about. Right. We'll keep trying until they do. Almost immediately, you feel a sharp tug on the line. Something pulls and fights your line as you slowly reel it in. There it is. You've caught yourself a fine, fat fish. All right, we have the dead fish and the fishing pole without the bait. All right, so we're going to swim across. We have to be careful. There's not much we can do, but shark will randomly appear on the ocean scenes. But we need to get to this island. You stare out at the ocean and the white sand beach of this secluded island. From the middle of the island, a majestic ivory palace towers, surrounded by a lovely manicured garden. Look, bird. A majestic peacock with a beautiful tail struts by. Get feather. And we have peacock feather. Beautiful blue ocean washes gently upon the shore of the magical island. Dominating the center of this island is a splendid ivory palace. You are roaming through the wonderful island garden. Towering beside you is an enchanting ivory palace. You see an interesting statue within this part of the garden. Look, statue. Depicted in the statue, a pair of dolphins leap gracefully from a wave. Genesta's tiny fairies guard the palace door. Before you, the palace door beckons, flanked on both sides by lilac shrubs. Let's take a visit to Genesta. This is the entry hall of the enchanted Ivory Palace. 2 of the doors are closed and presumably off limits to uninvited visitors. The left doorway, however, is open. You are on a tower stairway of the island's Ivory Palace. Genesta's bedchamber is very beautiful and serene. Genesta lies very still upon the seashell bed, her concerned fairy helpers hovering near and her pet snow leopard laying close by. As you attempt to speak to the gravely ill Genesta, her small fairy helpers flutter madly about, trying to prevent you from disturbing her. Okay. Not much we can do here. Lovely cyan and magenta. Okay. You have found yourself upon a most beautiful and exotic island. In the center of this island, a wondrous ivory palace towers. Behind you, the azure ocean washes gently upon the island's sparkling beach. As you swim, you notice a splendid white palace on a small island to the north. Okay. You are standing in the lovely garden of this enchanted island. Beside you rises a grand ivory palace. Within this garden, a bridge, emblazoned with the figures of swans, arches over a little pond. A beautiful white swan floats serenely upon it. All right, we're going to swim back. Just need to save to make sure I can make it without a shark attack. A narrow strip of beach borders a vast ocean which stretches off to the west. A pretty green meadow, dotted with bunches of wildflowers, goes to the east. Okay. You see a large thatch roof house surrounded by forest, and it looks very formidable. It might be wise to use caution here. A thick forest of pine trees surrounds you. You see a house in the distance to the north. This place gives you the willies. The trees around here are very strange, almost human-like. A dense forest surrounds this odd grove of trees. This is a scary old cemetery. Many of the tombstones are crumbling or falling over, and the entire place is overgrown with weeds. A mountain range looms to the east, and all around a forest encroaches. How odd! You see a crypt door built right into the mountainside. You see a beautiful waterfall cascading down the mountain into a deep blue pool. From the pool, a river courses westward. Around you, a dense forest closes in. Okay, we want to go into the waterfall. So let's wear the crown. It sure feels good to be yourself again. What's this? Why, it's a cave behind the waterfall. You see an old board lying by the cave entrance. Get bored. Wasn't close enough. Try again. And now we have board. The cave is very dark. Try as you might, you cannot peer through the darkness. Light lantern. Using a flint attached to the oil lantern, you light it. The lantern burns with a bright glow. Okay. Look. Floor. You see a pile of bones by the cave entrance. Get bone. And we have this bone. Okay, so in this cave, there is a monster that will come out at you. So I'm going to have to make sure I save at various points. Oh, you have been caught by the vicious troll. Fate be what it may, you are dragged off to meet it. All right, let's restore. All right, no troll here. Now this is a weird puzzle because you see those those lines. It's around here. There's actually a pit on the floor. The only way you know this pit is there by falling into it. Um, so you have to die and restore, and then know what to do after the fact. Put board on floor. Feeling in the dark, you manage to place the board across the crevice. Now, can you cross it safely? Get bored. Feeling in the dark again, you manage to pick up the board without dropping it into the crevice. From here, a huge muddy swamp spreads eastward. Large moss-covered swamp trees tower overhead, while grass tufts and reedy plants poke up from the mire. You can hear the many chirpings and croakings of unseen swamp creatures. All right, let's jump. Not much of a challenge here, just jumping between these pads. You see a small island in the middle of a huge swamp. Upon this island grows a scrawny little tree. A large glistening fruit hangs from a small branch. Unfortunately, a huge cobra protects it. Put board on island. Okay. Play flute, which seems to mesmerize the snake. Nervously, you raise the flute to your mouth and begin to play a melodic tune to the big cobra, who begins to sway with the music. Soon, the snake is mesmerized by it and falls into a hypnotic trance. Get fruit. Okay. Nice. So, the magic fruit to save King Graham. Get bored. And jump back. Okay. See if we remember where the hole is. Put board on floor. Feeling in the dark, you manage to place the board across the crevice. Now, can you cross it safely? Feeling in the dark again, you manage to pick up the board without dropping it into the crevice. Ah, so close. Thank you for playing King's Quest IV, The Perils of Rosella. Next time, be more careful. You know, I was pretty careful. It's just a random chance when that thing appears. There we go. Made it through safely. Use crown. What do you want to do? Oh, what are we going to do with the small crown? We want to wear the crown. Poof, you're a little froggy. You don't like the clammy feeling of being a frog. You look around, decide there's no reason to be one right now, and remove the little gold crown. Okay, I guess I don't need to be a frog to leave the waterfall. Nope. Okay. The mountain range rises to the east from the forest. A narrow path winds steeply up the side of it. Okay, let's head on up here to Lolotte's castle. Uh-oh, Lolotte's goons. Well, well, my pets, Lolotte hisses, what have you drug home today? Lolotte gives you the once-over, and as she does, her red eyes begin to narrow. Are you a foolish girl who wandered here by mistake, or are you a spy sent here by my enemy, Genesta? You swear to Lolotte that you are nothing but a poor peasant girl who has lost her way, but she doesn't seem to believe you as her mouth begins to snarl and her eyes narrow to mere slits. For the first time, you experience real fear and begin to tremble. Lolotte snarls, "You don't look stupid enough to have wandered here. I believe you're a spy. Take her to the cell." Well, this is an interesting fate. You have found yourself in a horrible cell. It looks as if others have found their way here too. Hopefully you won't end up like them. Looks skeleton. At least two unfortunate individuals have met their end here. You hear the henchmen returning. Perhaps they are setting you free. The henchman motions you to follow him out of the cell. Lolotte gives you a sickly sweet look. You're lucky, my dear, she coos. My precious son, Edgar, has taken a liking to you, and he believes you. He's convinced me to give you a chance to prove your innocence. You glance at the homely young man standing next to Lolotte. He blushes. Lolotte continues, I wish to own the unicorn that inhabits the Meadowland. Bring me the unicorn, I shall not only set you free, but reward you as well. To her henchman, Lolotte orders, Go, take her back to the forest. Okay. Now to find the unicorn. So we get the unicorn with the Cupid's bow that we have here. But there's a missing thing. A green meadowland filled with beautiful wildflowers surrounds you. This isn't entirely obvious. I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to figure this out, maybe just by exploring. But we need to go into the ocean in order to get a thing that we'll need to capture the unicorn. Wistfully, you stare out over the ocean, wishing you could go home and see your family again. Unfortunately, reality sets in, and you remember your difficult situation. Turning your head, you look eastward toward a meadowland covered with wildflowers and heave a big sigh of sadness. A sparkling white sand beach edges a vast blue ocean. Turning to the east, you see a lush, flowery meadow. So, I need to make sure I don't get caught by a shark. Somewhere over here is a whale. See, there's the shark. You make a tasty morsel for that hungry shark. Thank you for playing King's Quest IV: The Perils of Rosella. Next time, be more careful. All right. There it is. Horrors, you've been swallowed by a huge whale. You, this place stinks. Okay. That's basically what it said before. You notice a bottle floating in the seawater of the whale's stomach. Get bottle. Okay. Glass bottle has a note in it. Open bottle. You open the glass bottle and retrieve the imprisoned note. Read note. Hey, I need help here. The wicked Horde King has had me thrown into his dungeon. If I don't get out of here, then evil will rule the world in the Black Cauldron. That is an advertisement for another game. Sierra would do that a lot. They would just cross-promote their games. Okay. Another thing that was kind of odd about this puzzle is that you couldn't climb directly up the tongue. You had to go kind of diagonal. And there is a small path There we go. So we want to tickle mouth with feather. You frantically tickle the throat of the whale with the big peacock feather. You begin to feel a quiver under your feet, which quickly turns into a mighty tremble. Suddenly, you hear a thunderous "Achoo!" and you are swept out of the whale's mouth in a tremendous wave of ocean water. Again, you find yourself swimming in the ocean. You can see an island in the distance. How convenient. You found yourself stranded upon a desert island. Also, it seems, have others before you. Now what are you going to do, Rosella? It looks as if many an unlucky sailor has been stranded here. You see a glint coming from one of the wrecked boats on the beach. Look in boat. You look at the ground inside the wrecked boat. What is this? Why, it's a golden bridle. You pick it up and carry it with you. This is the bridle that we're going to need to catch the unicorn. Okay. Look, pelican. A pelican visits you on this desert island. Throw fish at pelican. You're not close enough. All right, let's get closer. You throw the stinky dead fish to the pelican. Greedily, he catches it in his large bill. As he does so, you notice something shiny fall from his bill onto the ground. Look ground. You see a shiny whistle lying on the ground. Get whistle. And now we have a silver whistle. Whoa, whistle. You put the shiny silver whistle to your lips and forcefully blow into it, producing a loud tweet. To your astonishment, a friendly dolphin appears just offshore and jabbers excitedly at you. Ride, dolphin. You are my trip out of here. Shoot unicorn with arrow. You aim one of Cupid's golden arrows toward the beautiful unicorn. You let go of the bowstring. Zing! Bullseye. The magnificent unicorn is no longer afraid of you. It's now your friend. Pet unicorn. You're not close enough? Okay. You gently stroke the velvety soft nose of the unicorn. It seems as if you've made a friend, Rosella. Put bridle on unicorn. As the beautiful unicorn offers no resistance, you gently place the golden bit into its mouth and fit the bridle and reins over its majestic head. The unicorn looks at you with curiosity. Ride unicorn. You nimbly mount the magnificent unicorn, grab the golden reins, and set off towards Lolotte's castle. The unicorn seems paralyzed with fear at the sight of Lolotte's henchmen. So, Lolotte says, I hear you were a good girl and brought me the unicorn. I'm almost convinced you might be innocent after all, but, she clears her throat, not quite. Uh-oh, this doesn't sound good, you think. Lolotte continues, I'm desirous of the hen that lays the golden eggs. Currently, the hen is kept by the ogre and his wife. Bring me the hen, and you shall have your freedom and a great reward. Take her away, Lolotte orders her goons. Okay. To the ogre's house. The ogress sees you. You'd better run, as she'd like to have you for dinner. Okay. Right, nobody's here. Open door. Watch out, a very unfriendly bulldog rushes towards you. Throw bone at dog. Quickly, you toss the bone to the big dog, who catches it in midair. Happy with his surprise gift, he takes it to his favorite rug, lies down, and begins to gnaw at it. He seems to have completely forgotten you. This isn't the most cozy looking living room you've ever seen. In fact, the ogre's house looks almost frightening. You've entered the ogre's upstairs bedroom, where a huge bed dominates the place. In the left wall, you notice a closed door. Against the right wall leans the ogre's axe. Get the axe. We'll need that for later. I don't know if I can go in here. You smell something horrible cooking on the stove in the ogre's kitchen. As a matter of fact, you get the feeling that this is not a safe place to be. Poked. I didn't know you could do that. You found yourself inside the ogre's small closet. For a closet, it's surprisingly empty. You notice a large keyhole under the doorknob of the closet door. Look in keyhole. All right, we wait a bit for the ogre to return home. Some of these puzzles in King's Quest IV require having some patience. Um, in this case, it's about a 1 minute wait. Kind of like how we had to wait in the prison cell earlier, and there's another like this later. Um, Still not nearly as bad as the 15-minute pirate ship wait in King's Quest III. At least when it happens, it can sometimes get a little disconcerting because you're sitting here investigating or trying to figure out, what do I have to do to solve this puzzle or get out of here? And really, it's just a timer. There we go. You hear the ogre in the house. Look through keyhole. The ogre roars, "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of a..." "Quiet, you old goat," interrupts the ogress. "That's just a deer you smell. You know how you get when you're hungry. Here, eat." "Wife," shouts the ogre, "bring me my hen." Lay, orders the ogre. With excitement, you watch the hen lay a golden egg, which the ogre takes. He yawns, then falls asleep on the table. Soon, his snoring rattles the walls. All right, here we go. You see the ogre sleeping at the table. You had better be real quiet. Get hen. Open door. Squawk, squawk. Uh-oh, the hen has woken the ogre. Right. That's not too bad. We have the magic hen. Walking up this path is just a lot easier with the mouse. What a good girl you are, Lolotte gushes. I really ought to give you your reward right now. She pauses, and you wonder what she's up to. Lolotte goes on to say, but I have just the tiniest bit of doubt left. If you do just one more thing for me, I'll be completely convinced of your innocence, and you'll receive a wonderful reward. Somehow, you don't quite believe her. I want to have Pandora's box. It is said whoever owns it would be in possession of the purest evil. Lolotte's red eyes glow as she exclaims, with the power and evil of Pandora's box, I would be unstoppable. Your terror returns as you realize what an evil being Lolotte really is. You wonder if you should be helping her in this way, but what can you do about it? Nothing. Right now. I don't know the whereabouts of Pandora's box, Lolotte tells you. You must search for it yourself. Again, she orders her henchmen to take her away. You've come upon a bizarre group of scary, human-like trees. A thick forest of pine trees surrounds this strange group. Steep mountains block your way to the east. Wave axe. The trees tremble at your might and are frightened by your axe. They will not bother you further. So, yeah, I didn't show it, but if I walk up to the trees before then, they'll grab me, and then I have to start over. There's a way through here. There's supposed to be a way through here. There we go. A cave bearing a slight resemblance to a skull juts out from the craggy mountainside. Huge rocks block your exit to the north, and you're completely surrounded by those grabby trees. Nice situation, huh? Yeah, that's not slight. All right. This is a dismal and dreary cave. Within it reside 3 one-eyed old witches. In the center of the cave, over a hot fire, boils a foul-smelling brew inside a large black cauldron. I got too close to the witches. Okay. The idea here is that you see that the witches... Look, witches. 3 old one-eyed crones inhabit this dreary cave. They possess a glass eye which they pass from one to another that enables them to see. Through the glass eye, they each in turn peer at you with a frightening mixture of curiosity and malice. So the idea is to grab that eye as they're passing it. Oh. You needed a hot bath, but not this hot. Okay, let's try that one more time. Get eye. You just managed to snatch the glass eye from the grasp of the old witches. Now they are totally blind and helpless. Give us back our eye, the old witches plead. Okay, we have now here the witch's glass eye. Give us back our eye, the old witches plead. As you re-enter the dismal cave, the three one-eyed witches throw something toward you, which lands on the ground. Here, take it, they cry. It'll ward off the undead. You'll need it. Now please give us back our eye. You think about it. Ouch. I walk into the fire. Look, ground. You see a black scarab on the cave floor. Get scarab. Obsidian scarab. All right. We'll return. Throw eye to witches. You throw the glass eye to the three old hags, who once again take turns peering at you. Come closer, dear, one says. We'd like to give a little gift to you. No thanks. Sorry, don't trust you. Okay. Like a heavy blanket, darkness enfolds you. Now it's nighttime. This is a creepy place. You have found a grove of very odd and scary-looking trees. A thick forest surrounds the grove. Okay. So at nighttime, the spirits start to wander around this house. What's that you hear? Why, it's the sound of a crying baby, and it's coming from upstairs. This old bedroom must have once been very nice. You can imagine a cheery fire in the fireplace, while its occupant slept snugly in the big bed. But sadly, this room has been abandoned for years. You hear a baby crying. It appears as if this was once the master bedroom. However, cobwebs hang everywhere and dust covers the furniture. The crying baby seems to be in here. This old baby nursery must have once been a cheery place. Now, through neglect, cobwebs decorate the corners, wallpaper peels from the walls, and dust covers the nursery furniture. Look in rocker. You imagine the mother who must have rocked her baby in this rocking chair. No, this isn't a rocker. This is a crib. Look, crib. Cradle. That's what I was looking for. The baby cradle rocks to and fro as the baby's voice wails from within. Okay, so now the way this works is we have to find an item that will settle the ghost. These are ghosts of people that used to live in the house, and there are items in that we can uncover from these graves. The terrifying zombie senses your obsidian scarab. It immediately retreats and goes back to whence it came. Oops. Yeah, kind of creepy with zombies sprouting up, but actually really just gets more annoying than anything, because the scarab takes care of all of them. I think I've read this already, but this rundown, gloomy cemetery gives you the creeps. Many of the old tombstones have fallen over, and the entire place is overgrown with grass and weeds. So we need to find the tombstone where the baby is buried, which I think might be this little one here. Read tombstone. To the ever-living memory of Hiram Bennett, baby son of Edward and Sarah Bennett, who by a sudden surprise fell asleep the 11th day of November, 1553, aged 6 months. Okay. Dig here. You carefully dig a small hole at the poor baby's grave. What's this? You've uncovered a silver baby rattle. You bend down, pick it up, and carry it with you. Okay. Okay, let's go up to the baby's crib. Put rattle in cradle. You drop the silver rattle into the baby cradle. As you do so, the crying of the baby ghost and the rocking of the cradle cease. You breathe a big sigh of relief. The crying baby, well, we just appeased the baby ghost. The sound of loud moaning and the rattling of heavy chains disturbs you. Look, ghost. The ghost of a stooped old miser trudges through the house, lugging heavy chains behind him. He moans loudly in frustration as he appears to be searching for something he can't find. I think the miser's grave is here. Look, grave. Many graves with crumbling tombstones litter the old cemetery. Read grave. Read tombstone. 1643. Here lies Newberry Will. His life was finished 'cause he took ill, but none will miss him. He should have been wiser. 'Tis his own fault for being such a miser. So this is the miser ghost. Let's dig. You really should have these zombies come out only once, and then you're done, right? Because it's just annoying to keep having them pop up while, I don't know. Anyway, you dig a small hole at the grave of the old miser. Aha! You found a bag of gold coins. You bend down, pick it up, and carry it with you. Alright, so we have gold coins. Open door. Give coins to miser. You offer the bag of gold coins to the old miser ghost. He greedily snatches it from your hands and then promptly disappears. The sound of sorrowful weeping floats down from upstairs. This old dining room has seen better days. The long table is littered with crumbs and dust, and against the wall the empty hutch is covered with cobwebs. The old kitchen is quite bare. The fireplace has been cold for years, and the dusty pantry is empty, but for old crumbs. The sound of weeping fills the house. Okay. Let's go find it. Actually, I think it was back in that other room that I was in. Just didn't wait long enough. There we go. Look, woman. You see the sad ghost of a beautiful young woman. She sits in her rocking chair and weeps as if her heart will break. Talk, woman. You try to comfort the lady ghost, but she doesn't respond. It seems as if she doesn't even know you're here as she continues her deep sobbing. Okay. Not a whole lot of information to go on. I'm pretty sure it's over here on this side. Oops. Read Tombstone. Betty Cowden, 1650 to 1669. Here lieth the body of Betty Cowden, who would live longer, but she couldn't. Sorrow and grief made her decay when she lost her lover at sea one day. I'm pretty sure this is it. Only 19 years old. Huh? Terrifying zombie senses your obsidian scarab. Okay. Goodbye, zombies. Let's dig grave. You carefully dig a small hole at the sad lady ghost's grave. Yeah, you have found a lovely locket. Bend down, pick it up, and carry it with you. Okay. It's the locket of her lover. Give locket to woman. You hand the lovely locket to the distraught ghost. The locket seems to make her very happy as she vanishes into thin air. What was that? A loud wailing sound comes from downstairs. The sound of anguished wailing reaches you. Okay, none here. Try the dining room. Look, man. You have encountered the gentleman ghost of the distinguished Lord of the Manor. He wails despondently as he seems to be looking for something he desperately wants. Read Tombstone. Lord Coningsby, 1559-1626. Sleepeth here in peace, an honorable man, a valiant soldier, he served his country well. Dig grave. You dig a small hole at the grave of the Lord of the Manor. Gotcha. You found an impressive Medal of Honor. Bend down, pick it up, and carry it with you. And that is the medal. Right? No, it's still dining room. Sometimes he appears in the parlor. So give medal to man. You offer the medal of honor to the wailing ghost. He takes it from your hands with great reverence. Satisfied, he vanishes into thin air. A cute little boy ghost suddenly appears. He grins mischievously at you, begins to giggle, and runs from the room. You hear naughty giggling as the little boy ghost runs from the room. Okay, something for the boy. I'm not sure which one of these it is, so I might have to read a few here. Read Tombstone. At length, my friends, the feast of life is o'er. I've eaten sufficient, and I'll drink no more. My night has come, I've spent a jovial day. 'Tis time to part, but oh, what is to pay? Nope, that's not it. Actually, it might be this one. Rebecca Freeland. She drank good ale, good punch, and wine, and lived to the age of 99. Nope. 1546. Reader, here lies, but forbear to read more without a tear. One, I cannot speak the rest. You may weep, I'll smite my breast. Grief preventing, and this stone, too small to be written on, only this, a little boy, Willie, in Abram's bosom laid. This is the one. You dig a small hole at the little boy ghost's grave. Aha! You've uncovered a toy horse. Okay. That's the last grave that we'll need to dig up. Not completely the end of the zombies yet. Okay. Ghost again. Climb ladder. Not a ghost ladder, I hope. The little boy ghost laughs and refuses to budge from his seat on top of the chest. It might help if he had a toy to play with. Give, let's see, we have this toy horse, okay? Give toy to ghost. You give the toy horse to the little boy ghost in hopes that he will vanish like the others before him. For a moment, you fear he will not, as he takes time to examine it carefully. Suddenly, he grins at you and in a twinkling disappears. After adjusting your eyes to the gloom, you soon see that you have stumbled upon the musty attic of the old house. The trap door in the floor is open, and from it a ladder leads down to the room below. Useless junk and boxes clutter the room. There is an interesting chest near the open trap door. Open chest. Look in chest. You peek into the open chest and find an old set of sheet music. You take the sheet music and carry it with you. Sheet music. Okay. Climb down. All right. Now, this is where we go up the tower. A dusty old pipe organ sits in the center of the tower room. All right, so we want to play sheet music. You find it difficult to read the old sheet music, but you attempt it anyway. What is this? A small drawer has opened in the organ. Look in drawer. You see a skeleton key in the drawer. Hit key. You take the skeleton key from the drawer. Stand, and we'll go back downstairs. Be careful we don't fall. At least there's a railing in this part. The steps spiral steeply up the stone tower of this old house. So now we have this skeleton key. Okay, goodbye, annoying zombies. Look, door. The crypt door is closed. Look, crypt. The stone crypt is built into the mountainside. Unlock door. You place the skeleton key in the lock of the crypt door. Slowly, you turn it. Click. It unlocked. Open door. What an incredible place. This looks like an ancient burial tomb with hieroglyphics written on the walls, and an old coffin against the far wall. A pile of rope is at the edge of the upper platform. You see an odd-looking little chest here. It must be Pandora's box. Get rope. You reach down and get the pile of rope. To your happy surprise, you find that the rope is actually a rope ladder attached to the end of the platform. Gladly, you throw the rope ladder over the edge of the platform where it falls to the floor below. Climb down. You're not close enough. Okay. Look out for the mummy. The mummy runs from your powerful scarab. See, one of the things I actually don't understand about the sequence is that Knight doesn't seem to fall until you get the scarab. I know in the AGI version, Knight can happen independently. Like during this third quest from Lolotte. But in the SCI version, every time like when I've gotten the scarab, like this whole thing is just a nuisance, right? The zombies and the mummy, like I can't even imagine without the scarab getting this far. So I don't know. I don't understand why is the mummy really a threat, or is it just there to scare you? Anyway, let's get on with the game. Let's get the box. And we now have, where is it? Pandora's box. Climb ladder. Okay. So, I could just head back to Lolotte now, but one of the things that I actually enjoy doing is exploring Tamir in nighttime. Because the scenery changes a little bit beyond just the sky. Um, some of the shades are darker. Um, Maybe I'm wrong. If I remember correctly, some of the shades seemed like they were darker. Some of the shadows were, but um, like they are here, for example. A thick forest of pine trees surrounds you. You see a house in the distance to the north. That's the ogre's house. Just don't think I had actually been there in a while. Nope, we don't want to go back to the zombie area. I guess there's really not much else to see. Tamir is pretty small. It's only... Oops. I think it's only like 4 screens high. And then I guess there's, what, 5 screens wide, maybe 6. Okay. Let's return to the castle. Lolotte smiles an evil smile. You know, she says, I never asked you your name. What is it? You tell her, Rosella. Rosella, what a pretty name. You wonder what this is all about. You find out soon enough. Well, Rosella, Lolotte grins ominously, you've earned your reward. My son Edgar has fallen in love with you. I wish him to be happy, and I give you the honor of being his wife and my daughter-in-law. Your heart turns flips and somersaults as you hear this. You'll be married first thing in the morning, she informs you. You will sleep in Edgar's room tonight while my son sleeps elsewhere. She motions to her goons. Let us relieve you of your burdensome load before you retire. You're so shocked by this tragic turn of events that you hardly notice your possessions being taken away. To her goons, Lolotte orders, escort our Rosella to her room. You think to yourself, now what? Normally, this is Edgar's tower bedroom. Actually, for being in such an awful castle, it looks quite comfortable, but you're in no mood to care. Look out window. You see the mountain outside the window. Okay. Now we just have to wait a moment. I think they're expecting that you explore the room a little bit. And then this happens. You hear something at the door. Look, door. It's just a plain wooden door. Oh, here we go. What's this? Why, a beautiful red rose has been pushed under your door. You pick it up and carry it with you. What a beautiful red rose. What's this? Why, there's a little gold key attached to this rose. Get key. You remove the little gold key from the red rose. Gold key. Unlock door. Using the little gold key, you quickly unlock the door. Open door. So it seems Edgar is setting us free. Well, he better. He's our fiance now, so treat your woman right. Okay. You're at the bottom of the West Tower. A spiral of stone steps winds to the top. Look, guard. You see nothing special. Look, goon. The henchman is asleep. Okay. To keep our distance, so as not to wake him. This is a rather cheerless dining room. Eating here would not be a pleasant experience. If I remember correctly, making it into this room back here is actually a little bit challenging without waking the guard. Yeah. So we'll try again. There we go. You've discovered the castle's kitchen. Not a very pleasant kitchen, but a kitchen nonetheless. Against the back wall, 2 cabinets flank a cold stone fireplace. You see a long table under one small window. Look, table. Nothing on the table interests you. Look, cabinets. You see 2 cabinets, one on each side of the stone fireplace. Open cabinet. Here are all your possessions. Get everything. There we go. Got my inventory back. Open cabinet. This cabinet is full of dishes. Okay. You see nothing special. Okay, I can't look around the throne room. Look, throne room. Lolotte's throne room is cold, dark, and ominous. From here, she rules her domain with an evil hand. You're at the bottom of the east tower. A spiral of stone steps winds to the top. These stone tower steps could be very treacherous. Right, we're not going to go that way just yet. Open door. Unlock it first. Okay. Unlock door. Which key do you want to use, the gold key or the skeleton key? Gold key. Using the little gold key, you quickly unlock the door. So interestingly, both Lolotte and Edgar's room use the same key. So, this is Lolotte's bedchamber. You question her tastes in decorating as her furniture is a bit on the gaudy side. And speaking of Lolotte, the old bat is sound asleep on her massive bed. Shoot Lolotte with arrow. You aim the golden arrow towards Lolotte. You let go of the bowstring. Zing! A direct hit. Lolotte sits straight up in bed, a look of agony upon her face. What did you do to me? She shrieks. I'm melting, melting. No, wait, that's another story. Let's try again. It hurts, it hurts. Stop the pain, stop it. You cringe as you watch the evil fairy die a painful death. What happened, you wonder? How could Cupid's arrow have done that? You thought that these arrows were harmless and contained only love. Wait, that must be it. Love. Lolotte was so evil that when all that pure love entered her body, it acted as a poison to her system. In spite of yourself, you feel a sense of sweet revenge. As she breathes her last, Lolotte manages to gasp, I don't know how, but I'll get you for this. A bright new day is dawning. Edgar bows to you, acknowledging his evil mother's death. He begins to say, You may now walk freely about the castle. And suddenly begins to blush. Okay. And they're all bowing at me. This is the east end of the hallway. Open door. This seems to be some sort of storage room. And guess what's stored here? Yes, Pandora's box and the magic hen. Get box. Oops. There's nothing of interest in the boxes. I'm going to say get Pandora's box. Get hen. You're not close enough. Wait for him to come close to me. Here we go. This was the prison cell that I was in before. This is the west end of a dim hallway. There is a closed door here. Always say before going down the stairs, because they can be treacherous. You are standing before Lolotte's dark castle on the edge of the rocky mountain. There is a small stable next to it. Now we get to return all the things that we stole for Lolotte. Open gate. As soon as you open the gate, the splendid wild unicorn impatiently leaves its hated prison. It quickly trots out the open stable door to freedom. You've entered Lolotte's stable, and it looks like an ordinary stable at that. The treacherous path winds narrowly around the craggy mountain. In the distance, perched upon a rocky ledge, you see a dark, unfriendly castle. Hey, we just pulled an all-nighter. Oh, there is one other thing that before I head to Genesta. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Forgot to get Lolotte's talisman. Let's restore up to here. Did I let the unicorn out? Okay, yes I did. Open door. Alright, we've got to go back up the stairs. Get talisman. Alright, yes, that is very important. We have both the talisman and the magic fruit. We've let the unicorn, free the unicorn, and we have to return Pandora's box. We don't have to. I think when I've played this, when I first played this, I didn't do that, but you get maximum points that way. Okay, let's head back into the crypt. Climb down. Watch out for that mummy again. Drop Pandora's box. Climb up. Got a nice fanfare for that. Close door. Lock door. You place the skeleton key in the lock of the crypt door. Click. It locked. You kick the key through a crack under the door. Now no one will ever accidentally release the evils of Pandora's box into the world. All right, we have to save to make sure we don't get attacked by a shark. All right, we made it here. And this is my final save here. Genesta's tiny fairies guard the palace door. Open door. Genesta's tiny fairy helpers flit furiously about, trying to keep you from disturbing the dying fairy. Give talisman to Genesta. You give the magic talisman to the dying fairy. Almost instantly, the color returns to her cheeks and her green eyes begin to sparkle. She sits up in bed, stretches, and smiles at you. You've saved my life, Rosella, the beautiful fairy says gratefully, and you've saved Tamir from the persecution of Lolotte. We are deeply indebted to you. I want to go outside. I need to feel the warm sun on my face. Exuberantly, she waves her magic wand and, suddenly, you find yourself outside. My little hen, Genesta suddenly exclaims. Wherever did you find her? You explain that the ogre had possession of her. Poor thing, she says. Well, at least she's back home now. Now for you, Rosella, Genesta says. It's my turn to help you out. I will return you to Daventry, and with the magic fruit you'll be able to save your father's life. We'd better hurry, though, as he doesn't have much time left. Yes, you are anxious to get home again. But first, Genesta proclaims, let's replace these peasant clothes with your royal gown. With a twinkle in her eye, Genesta announces, there's someone else deserving of a reward for his kindness and heroism. You have a beautiful soul, Edgar, the fairy says to the ugly little man. You should look like what you are. That handsome hunk is Edgar? Rosella, he says, I love you. Will you marry me? You think about it. You think about it some more. Then, I'm sorry, Edgar. You're very sweet, but I must immediately return home. Perhaps we'll meet again, you say. Well, Rosella, Genesta announces, it's time for you to go. Your father desperately needs you. Goodbye. We'll never forget you. You give the healing fruit to your dying father and strongly urge him to take a bite, which he weakly does. How are you feeling, Father? You excitedly ask him. Never felt better in my life, is his reply. What is in this fruit anyway, he wonders. It's magic, Father, and you tell your excited family of your adventure in Tamir. I don't think you're through with that hat yet, you say. Your brother, Alexander, and your mother, Queen Valenice, readily agree. You've got too much life ahead of you. This concludes my playthrough of King's Quest IV. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll come back for more. So, all's well that ends well. Until next time, goodbye.